In the name of my ancestors, peace forever and always, and welcome to another edition of what I call the Reality's Temple on Earth Internet Ministry. I am the gatekeeper or the host of this program, known here on social media. Wherever you may find me, I am known as the mighty, mighty, mighty Angel Snuff 7. I am also your soul brother, #1. I want to send greetings to those early in my chat room, my brother Marquise and our brother Gary, Cool Cutter, and those who are listening. And unfortunately, I would be simulcasting on Facebook, but due to technical difficulties beyond my control, they changed the format. So I don't have time enough to try to figure out how it works. But I will download this broadcast from here to that Facebook. I want to welcome you to this age of reality. Some of you probably heard of the age of Aquarius. Well, I am telling you that this new time period is called the age of reality. You have never seen so many things, so many ideas and beliefs being challenged until this period of time, this age of reality. And it is on time because these things that we believe, these things that we make assumptions with, these things that we, these worlds, this world of fantasy, it must be challenged and it must be brought down in order for the human being. Thank you, Brother Gary. The age of Angel Snuff 7. Let me put that up there real quick. That's funny. In order for the human species, regardless of color, in order for us to truly progress, all these ideas that we have that clearly are not working must be tossed to the side. So this new age of reality is to bring forth your only chance, your only opportunity to save your life, because fictional answers, beliefs, fictional beliefs and answers cannot solve real problems. So we are living in a world and we're tossing beliefs and fictional answers and these weird and odd ideologies and thinking process at real problems. And as you can see, it is not helping us at all. So welcome to this age of reality. And don't get it twisted. There may be some that claim they're keeping it real. But when you look at what they're talking about, it is just more fantasy and fictional beliefs and ideas. Either we are going to keep it real or we're not going to do it at all. We're going to keep it as real and down to earth as possible. As possible. to the best that we can, because we have been conditioned and we have been surrounded by belief and fantasy and fiction and these ideas that are not real. So come on, get on board this soul train. And let's enter this new age of reality. The topic that we chosen for these few minutes, and I hope not to keep you long. I hope not to keep us long. And I hope that you can follow me. I have a lot to cover, and I don't want to keep us here a long time. And I hope that you can understand. Matter of fact, for those who are often visitors, those who come and listen to this platform, you already know and you can comprehend what I am going to present. We must have the ability to understand. We must have the ability to comprehend. Some of us have the ability to understand. Some of us have the ability to comprehend. We don't want to, because should we do that, it could interfere with our belief system. A belief or an ideology that we become loyal to, because we're not interested in reality. We're not interested in truth. We're only interested in that which we have believed to be true. And we have become loyal to that, to the truth that it may contain, but also the error, the false, which is in that thinking process or that belief system. I was speaking with a person, and they was making mockery of me, which is fine, because they can't comprehend, because their mind is locked up, because they don't want to see something else, because I already know. You can't tell me nothing, Angel Snup. You can't tell me nothing, because I already know. God has already told me from the Bible and Quran, or from Kemetic teachers, John Henry Clark, Dr. Ben, Dr. Claude Anderson, wherever you get your information from, I already been told. There's nothing that you can tell me, sir. I already know. Is it a possibility there could be an error? If they are, it's not off by that much. This is it. This is the truth. I'm a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I'm a follower of the Honorable Marcus Garvey. There's nothing that I'm a follower of Noble Jew Ali. I'm a follower of Malachi J. York. I'm a follower. I already know. You can't teach me nothing. I have already advanced my degrees within the science of Kemetic metaphysical energy. I know how to decode the future. There's nothing, sir, that you can teach me. Well, first of all, I'm not here to teach you anything. I'm not here to teach you. I'm not your teacher. I'm not looking for followers. I'm not looking for converts. We are just here simply to keep it real and to bring you advice and to offer suggestion, no more, no less. To convert you to what? Now, I would like to take you out of fantasy, out of fiction. Today, we want to separate, in dealing with this subject matter, fact from fiction, so that we can come up with the best truth that we can. If you are interested, some of you are not interested in truth. You are only interested in converting people to your ideology or your belief. You're not interested in any kind of truth. So basically, I'm dealing with a lot of people who are followers, and they would tell you, I follow so-and-so. I follow this. This is the teaching that I follow. I follow Jesus. I follow Moses. I follow the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I'm a follower. We're not looking for followers. Those that come here are not followers. They're leaders. We are not robots. We cannot be programmed, because what I say today might change tomorrow if you get information, new information that changes your conclusion. So we're not here to be robots. We're not here to be zombies. We're not here to be followers. We're here to be team members and leaders upon ourselves, so that when we begin to move forward, every man, woman, and child knows what to do, because we're all leaders. A very simple example is we are on a bus going to Chicago. And of course, you depend on your bus driver to get you to Chicago. But we want to make sure that every man, woman, and child on the bus, regardless if something happens to the bus driver, everybody knows how to get to Chicago. But when you are a robot, when you are a follower, you depend on your programming. You cannot think for yourself. You can only think as far as how you're being programmed, and you depend on somebody to follow. So you see a lot of confusion in the Nation of Islam, because Elijah Muhammad, the leader, is not here. Should I follow the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? Should I follow the Honorable Minister Eric Muhammad? Should I follow the late Khalid Muhammad? Should I follow Silas or the Son of Man or whomever? Who can I follow? You are looking to follow somebody. If your leader was truly a leader, then your leader would have shown you where, how, what to do, how to go, whether I'm here with you or I'm not. But now you see confusion among the Nation of Islam. Everybody is everywhere. There's a Nation of Islam in Detroit somewhere, and it's a little bit different. They don't know. It's just mass confusion. At the same time, it says in their Holy Quran, I, Allah, is not the author of confusion, but you are suffering confusion. Why? And many of them will tell you, well, they're not doing the right thing. They're not following the right person. They're not doing the right thing. They're pointing fingers at each other because everybody says, I'm right, because now the leader is gone, and the leader did not prepare the followers to be leaders. And so they're all over the place. So why would you want to join up within something that is filled with confusion? The same thing with the noble More Science Temple, the Christian church, and all this Kemetic and blackity black, all of it. They everywhere. They're all over the place. Confusion. Nobody really knows what to do. Nobody really don't know where to go. They are in confusion. But that's what you're going to have when you're dealing with people who depend on a specific individual or a specific group to guide them. Also, it's a sign of laziness. I don't have to do nothing. I just depend on I just follow the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I don't have to think for myself. I don't have to do nothing. Just follow his lead. And so many of you have seen in the animal kingdom, the lead animal falls off a cliff, and the other animals fall off the cliff. They see the cliff. They say, well, he must, the animal that's in front must know what he's doing. So everybody fall off the cliff. Everybody is dead. And so now, in this age of reality, we thought we was looking at life, and we see this Black conscious community, pro-Black, RBG Nation, Hebrew Israelite, whatever the form of Blackness that you have, you see that they have fallen off a cliff, and they're all mentally dead, going nowhere, confused. If that's what you want, so be it. But those who come here are smart enough. Hey, I'm following your lead, but hey, bro, you getting ready to fall off a cliff. I'm going the opposite direction. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I love you. You was a good leader while it lasted, but your dumb ass is falling off, getting ready to fall off a cliff. I can't do it. I got to know. No, I can't do it. We're not smart enough to see when our leaders, our leadership is getting ready to fall off a cliff because we're blind followers. So you will hear them say, well, you know, Elijah Muhammad teach, Noble Drew Ali teach, Clarence 13X teach, Malachi York teach. It's always about, well, the Bible said, the Quran said. They need to find something to follow. They need something to guide them because they are unable to guide self. True leadership, competent leadership, understands that we are mortal, that we can die. We understand that we can be assassinated. So whatever wisdom that we have, it must be transferred. It must be transferred to the people. So with or without me, the promised land that Dr. King spoke of, you're going to get there with or without me. That's what we do here. I don't know what they do elsewhere, because some folks love that praising. Oh, the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan. Oh, y'all love to praise and worship. Slave mindset, slave mentality. You looking for a slave owner because you're a follower. If soul brothers and sisters, if the Black man and woman in America, if we are to continue to progress and survive into time, we have to stop being robots, these zombies. We have to stop tripping on personality. Oh, did you see what Tariq Nasheed said on his program yesterday? How wonderful Umar Johnson is. But what about you? What about the listeners? What about your progress? What about your development? They are developing, they're rising as far as you're concerned, but where are you at? Right here. You don't move. You will do the same thing you done last year, you're doing this year. You're going nowhere, no time fast, because you are limited in those who you listen to, the leadership, those that you follow, those that you become a zombie and a robot to. We don't do that here. So if that's what you're looking for, the teachings, we don't have any teachings here. The teachings is to be able to observe reality. The teachings here is realism. The teachings is to separate fact from fiction. That's the teaching. The teaching is nature, learning from nature and staying within the laws and the boundaries of this planet that caused us to come into being. This is why we're lost. We're outside and we think we are better that we don't have to obey the laws of nature. You can have as many babies as you want. You can drink all the water that you want. You can make all the cars and airplanes, and you can do whatever you want as a human being, and there's no consequence. Use all the oil you want. Use all the gas you want. But see, reality is a mother, because sooner or later you're going to have to face the reality and go to your sink, no water. Go to the gas station, no gas. Disease is rampant. This coronavirus is nothing compared to what can happen. It's nothing. And it's on its way. And it's coming because of the activity of human beings. Is unnatural. The only thing the human being does is take. Take. You don't give what I want, what I need. Well, I need that land. Kill the deer. I need that land. Kill the squirrels. I don't care. It's mine. I do whatever I want to. The human being has become a parasite in life, not just on this planet. As far as life is concerned, the human being has become a parasite. And any animal that get a parasite, scratch it off, regurgitate it from his stomach. Nobody wants a parasite. And this planet, this human being, regardless of race, because they all think the same kind of way, you're going to have to deal with the consequences of your actions. And right now, you're headed toward a cliff, but you can make a U-turn. But once you get to that edge and start falling off, you suffer the consequences of your actions. Death is inevitable. And I'm not here to scare you. You're going to hell and the wrath of God, and no, I'm just telling you what can happen. And that's the result. Not trying to scare you. If you stand in front of a bullet, there's a high probability that bullet is going to kill you. That's all I'm telling you. I'm not trying to scare you. That's just the reality of it. Ask those who stood in front of bullets. Not trying to scare you. That's what will happen. If you touch fire, you get burned. And right now, you're touching fire and you're going to get burned. Not medium rare, you're going to get cooked. And you're on your way to that. But that's all right. Keep following your God. Keep following your teachers. Keep following your teachings. Just keep doing that. Let's see how far it gets you. We see how far it has gotten you right now. We need leaders. We don't need zombies. We don't need robots. We don't need followers. We need leaders. The topic that we've chosen is, I'm a soul man. I'm not an African or an Aborigine man. We want to separate fact from fiction here. What are we? Of course, in popular culture, we will say that we are Africans. That's what we was taught. And within the last few years, because of social media, there are those who say we are Aboriginals, we are Native Americans. Let's see what we are. Let's separate fact from fiction. The first thing I want to ask, you say we are Africans. We are Aboriginal. People are telling you what you are. They're not asking you. They're not advising you. They're not giving you a suggestion. They are telling you this is what you are by force. And then they get angry. You mean to tell me you don't believe you're African? You mean to tell me you don't believe that you're native? They get really upset and angry and whatever. What happened to asking people what they want to be? No, this is what you are. You are African. See, I don't like that attitude. You are Aboriginal. You can't tell me, Negro, what the hell I am. That's what you are. That's what you decided you want to be. You can't tell nobody. I cannot tell the 40 million plus brothers and sisters in this country who and what they are. You are African. You are native. You are more, whatever you think we supposed to be. Nobody asks nobody nothing. You're just going to tell people what they are, then get angry because they reject what you're talking about. Maybe because you're forcing something on them. You don't know how to talk to people. Now, I'm talking to us, and I'm not going to tell you who you are. You make up your mind who you are. I'm not going to tell you you are African. I'm not going to tell you what we are. Because the bottom line is we don't know what the hell we are. How do you know what you are when there's so much confusion? Are you a Moor? Are you a Hebrew Israelite? Are you an African? Are you Aboriginal? You live in confusion. How do we know what we are? And everybody think they right. So how you gonna tell somebody what they are? The first thing that needs to be done is to stop the confusion. Let's really break down and deal with the facts. Let's come to the best conclusion that we can come with. The people don't have a choice. I'm not going to tell you to be anything. Only thing I'm going to do is bring to you a presentation, and you decide. And everybody should have the right to decide. Nobody has the right to come and tell us, that's what we are. Who the hell are you? All these things need to be put before the 40 million plus in this country, and then let us decide. Me personally, I don't care. If we want to call ourselves bubblegum rappers, that's fine with me. As long as you can come up with an identity that everybody can agree upon, the mass majority can agree upon. So you can have something to work with, so that you can work as a unit. But when you have all this confusion, you cannot go. You cannot go far. How far can you get divided up and arguing and bickering over what you are? We committed. We more. We Israelite. No, we confused. We should do just like the election do. Let those who represent these different identities, let them bring it before the 40 million and let us vote on it, what we want to be as a people. And whether you win or lose, you can still stay Moor or African or whatever the hell you want to. But the people will tell us what they want to be. And then you shut the hell up. In your private life, you can be a Moor or Hebrew Israelite or whatever you want to. But the people will decide this is who we are. And so just like the candidates for president, you go before the people and put down your argument and let the people decide who they want to be. I don't think you really want to do that. I think y'all would rather stay in confusion, because if y'all put me on a national stage and gave me the opportunity to explain to the masses who they really are, how we really was created, they are going to vote this way. You are the minority, because they're going to find pride in themselves. We're going to talk about that. Look at here. Now, there are some silly folks. I wear my Malcolm X pen. And the reason why I have this Malcolm X pen is because the national assistant to Minister Louis Farrakhan was speaking at a Malcolm X birthday anniversary, and his own security people was tired and they did not want to secure the second man. This man is next to Minister Farrakhan in the organization. He's the international representative. He was the national assistant, but he's been around for years. He's Minister Farrakhan's #1, Brother Akbar Muhammad. Brother Akbar Muhammad told the FOI, I know you're tired, you've been up all day or whatever, but I need to go. I'm the main speaker at this Malcolm X function. And those who want to come, if you don't want to come, you just go home. I know that you're tired. They took him up on his offer. So I told Brother Akbar, I will go and I will secure you. I will be there and watch your back. I will be your security. That's why I was there. Myself, and there was another brother named Ronnie, and he's crippled, he's handicapped now. Brother that know me, we was in the temple together back in the day, and the minister from East St. Louis and his wife was there. Those brothers, this FOI did not show up for the number. This is the #2 man in their organization. That's why I have this Malcolm X pen, because I donated money to whoever was putting on this event, and I got this pen. That's why I have this Malcolm X pen. Then you have in the pen the red, the black, and the green, which is supposed to represent black nationalism, Marcus Garvey. So how can you talk the way you do, sir? You wearing Malcolm X. Malcolm X said we are Africans. Now, I just watched a video not too long ago. Malcolm X also said we are the original people of North America. He said that also. I seen a video him saying that. He also did say that we are descendants of Africans. Then you have the red, black, and the green, which represents black nationalism, Marcus Garvey, a relationship with Africa. First of all, I donated for this pen. It's mine. I can wear it whenever the hell I feel like it. It's mine. You don't tell me what I can and cannot wear. If I want to dress up like a black Muslim, it's my tie. It's my clothes. You don't tell me how I should carry myself. You are not my slave owner. You're not my slave master. You don't tell me what I do. Well, you don't represent. This is what I like. I like the pen. You don't tell me how to dress, how to think. You go to your slave master and they tell you what to do, how to think. Nobody tells me how to think, what to wear, what to do. I like Malcolm. I like Marcus Garvey. They said what they said within the parameters of what they knew during their time. This is the age of reality. So we know different. We know more. They only acted upon what they knew. Had they known what we know now, you don't know how they would respond. They might be like you, a robot. Arrogant. Can't tell me nothing. This is the way it's supposed to go. The teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Marcus Garvey. See, you a robot. I don't know about Marcus Garvey, but I know Malcolm X was flexible. That's why he became a black nationalist. That's why Malcolm X was able to inspire the Black Panthers and all these other black national groups or whatever, because he was outside of the Nation of Islam. He was flexible. In my opinion, if Malcolm X had lived, I think he would have been just like me. Oh man, get out of here. Malcolm X wouldn't have been like you. Yes, he would have. We come from the same place. Come from the same place. I was Nation of Islam too. We come from the same place. I was just like you, a robot. Or the teachers of Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad said this. The Holy Quran said that. I was just like you, a robot. But see, the difference between me and you is I was a child. I was 18, 19 years old. Following my adults. Because the adults supposed to know more than me. But if I knew what I knew now, back then, you wouldn't have got me back then. So it's a process of maturity. So Malcolm would have continued to mature. You cannot say that Malcolm would have stayed a so-called black nationalist or he would have stayed a Muslim. I say that Malcolm X, Brother Malcolm, would have became just like me. And that's why I'm here. Because everything, the process that Malcolm went through and what he was, it's me. It's me. You're a robot. You're a zombie. So you don't understand free thinkers. Those who come here are free thinkers. A slave does not understand why another slave want to run away from the plantation. Good Lord, you talk about running away? Is you sure you wants to do that? I mean, we get Christmas time, we're going to get a lot of corn and we're going to get a lot of hog balls and a lot of good cake and everything. Why you want, what? Invo, why they want to leave the plantation? You want to be free to do what? That's what the slaves. And just like even in 2020, when we talk about separation, when we talk about taking control of a state, the slaves, those who have slave mind, take control of a state. You want your own nation. Where we gonna go? What we gonna do? We got everything we want right here. We can go to the Invo concert. We can have coronavirus. We got everything here. We don't need to go nowhere. The same mentality, same mindset. Hold on just a second. Same mentality. Slaves, a Kemetic slave, a Nation of Islam slave, Hebrew Israelite slave, Christian slave. Same thing. When you're dealing with people who are not free thinkers, when you're dealing with people who are dependent on somebody else to do for them. So they would not understand. You would not understand. People listening to me, if you have a slave mind, if you're a robot and you're a follower, you cannot comprehend what you're talking about. I don't understand. Of course you don't understand. And they will tell you they don't understand, but they will come and try and come against you knowing they don't understand. So they come against me in ignorance because they don't understand. So your best bet is just to shut the hell up and leave me alone. Go argue with another robot like yourself, a comedic robot, a pro-black conscious robot, black first robot, zombie, a Nation of Islam, More Science Temple. Pick whoever you want to. You can argue with another robot. You cannot argue with a free thinker. It's a losing proposition, and you're just going to make yourself look bad. Well, you look bad anyway. You shouldn't have messed with somebody like me to begin with, because I'm a thinker. You don't know you don't know how I'm going to go. Like the Honorable Bruce Lee, the martial artist. In his martial arts, he created a system called Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. But then he decided his martial art has no name at all because you have to be flexible. When you put a name on something, then you limit it. And he wanted his martial arts to be limitless. However the fight comes, whatever you got to do, just do it. He wanted his martial art to be like water. Be flexible, my friend. Be like water. Water takes three forms. It can be a gas, it can be a solid, and of course it can be water, liquid. And water takes the shape of the vessel that you put it in because it's flexible. But when you have a rigid form, when something is rigid, you can't take an apple and just put it in a jar. You have to cut it up. You got to make it have form. Water, you just pour it, takes the form of the vessel. And that's our problem. We love these rigid. We love being rigid in our thinking. I think I will. Hey, how you doing? My eyes was just hurting earlier, so I wanted to get some of that glare off and clear my eyes up. But this being rigid in our thinking process. Now, let's try to get into our subject matter a little deeper here. There was a young lady, I don't know if she was Hispanic or she was a soul sister, I'm not sure. It was a young lady that was kidnapped at birth. Now I want y'all to follow me as we get more into the subject here. There was a young lady who was kidnapped at birth. They found her at, I think she was 21, 22 years old. And they found her. She was kidnapped at birth. The only mother, I want y'all to take this in, because This is an individual situation. I want to show us how this relates to us as a people. This young girl was kidnapped at birth. She was raised by a kidnapper, okay? Now she's grown. She's an adult. She's over 18. I think she's 21, 22. And they send the mama to jail, the kidnapper, which is the only mother she knows. She was raised from infant to be an adult by the kidnapper. Woo, come on. Do they remind you of somebody? Somebody that was raised by a kidnapper until they became an adult? Do they remind you of a people? So they take her to jail, and they introduce the young lady to her biological real mother and her family. Now you think this will be a happy reunion, right? Oh, my child, I haven't seen my child since she was an infant. Oh my goodness. All the family, everybody waiting and happy. The young lady is terrified. She's terrified. This is her biological, real family. She's terrified. She wants to go to the prison. She wants to go to the jail to be with the only mother she knows, that is this kidnapper. So I'm bringing this up. Here's a young lady that is scared of her real family because she don't know them. So how are you going to come before the brothers and sisters in this country and tell us we are these Africans? We don't know nothing about that. Don't know nothing about it. This is all we know. Now, to my knowledge, I think she's trying to get to know them. But the reality is she's not really interested. They are strangers. And these are her biological, real. Now, you keep talking about we are Africans. You don't have no relatives over there at all. This young lady has real biological people, and she's scared to death of them. She don't know them at all. You telling me I'm an African, I don't know nobody over there. And even if I did, we have nothing in common. So this young lady is an example. She knows who her family is. She wants to go back to the mother that raised her. I know you, my mother. That's nice. I don't know y'all like that. She wants to go back to her mama. She kidnapped her. That's wrong. But clearly she did not abuse the child. She didn't do nothing to hurt the child. And the child wants to be with the only mother she knows. Here you are, these pro-black idiots. They want to come to me and you and talk about going back to some Africa we've never been, dealing with some people, and they are speaking in general terms. There's nothing specific. It's just Africa. Well, that's a big continent. 50 plus nations. Who are you talking about? What you talking about, Willis? That's the way I look at them. When they tell me you are African, I'm like, what you talking about, Willis? Who you talking about? If you know I'm an African, then tell me who my family is. Tell me what nation I come from. Even so, I don't know nothing about it. Nice to know. This young lady, it's nice to know about my biological mother. my biological family. She might try to get to know them and she might not. But it really don't mean nothing. And really, they're happy to see her, but they don't know her either. See, we don't know each other. And you just want to just throw folks together like everything is all happy. That's my relative. Look, that's not how things work. We're strangers. They are living, Africans, people on that continent are living a whole different lifestyle than we are here. The reality is, brothers and sisters are not going to go by the millions or even the thousands to know Africa. You don't know nothing about it. And you should not get angry and you should not get upset and you should not blame somebody. Here's a young lady. These are her biological relatives and she's scared to death of them. What do you expect? Going back real quick to Malcolm X and the teachings of the Nation of Islam. The teachings of the Nation of Islam is the black man is the original man of this planet, not of Africa. The Nation of Islam do not teach. The Nation of Islam teaches brother and sisterhood with Africa. The Nation of Islam does not teach that we are Africans. The Nation of Islam teach that we are the aboriginal of the whole planet. God of the universe. That's what they teach. So when you talk about Malcolm X called us African, the teachings of the Nation of Islam is we are the original man of the whole planet. Does not teach just Africa. The whole planet. The whole planet belongs to us. The whole universe, according to their teachings. According to their teaching. It's not my teaching. According to their teaching. The black man is the ruler of this planet, God of the universe. Now, of course, black did not exist until the white man created. So I don't know how the black man did all this when the black man did not even exist. Did not even exist those years ago. I'm going to show you why. Let's try to get through this real quick. Are you hanging with me? Okay, let's try to get through this real quick. Let me get a drink. Okay. Frederick Douglass. You know the guy, the brother that Umar Johnson is related to? The brother that Umar Johnson is related to, okay? Frederick Douglass, during his time, and you can look it up. You don't take my word for nothing, because I know y'all like to do your research. Y'all like to do your research, but you don't use logic, and you don't use common sense, and you don't like facts. You really don't. Especially if it interferes with your belief, how you want to believe in things. Frederick Douglass said during his time, he said, he wrote rather, after 270 years, the so-called Negro, that's what we was called during his time, the so-called Negro is an admixture people unique unto ourselves. And I agree with Frederick Douglass 1000%. That's what Frederick Douglass said. And I want to explain why. Now look, we're going to use this for an example. A polar bear. Okay, A polar bear lives in Antarctica, Alaska, somewhere where it's really, really cold. Now, if you take that polar bear, bring it to the United States, and put it in the zoo, that polar bear is still a polar bear. It's just in the United States. Correct? Okay? Now, if for some reason that polar bear has babies with a grizzly bear, the babies are not grizzly. The babies are not polar. They are a mix between the polar bear and the grizzly bear. Now, the babies can look just like a polar bear. See, this is what got y'all all messed up, because you're going by what something looked like. These babies can look just like a polar bear, but they're not. The father was a polar bear and the mother was a grizzly bear. These babies can look like a grizzly bear. These babies can look like a polar bear, or these babies can look like a mix. They are not grizzly. They are not polar bear. So after the original parents die off and you got these mixed babies begin to reproduce, grizzly bear, polar bear, grizzly bear, polar bear, they become a new bear. They're not grizzly bear. They're not polar bear. They become a unique species, a hybrid to themselves that was created in the zoo. Now, this is what happened to the black man and woman in America. This is what happened to us, that these people just ignore. The Aboriginal ignore, and these African people, folks, they just ignore this fact. You cannot ignore this. When I was growing up, I never heard nobody, my family, I never heard nobody around us teach the children, taught us that we was Africans. And of course, you have an explanation for that. We was not taught that. But I did hear in some people's family, they talked about being Native Americans. I did hear that. But I never heard nobody talk and say they was Africans. We got relatives, we come from Africa. I never heard that. And if you really examine the story, the transatlantic slave trade, it don't make any sense. It don't make any sense. Also, you have to take in consideration that the races called the native people here, called them Africans, called them Negro, called them black. Who else is called black and African and Negro? The ones they call Africans, they don't call them Negro. They don't call them colored. But the natives that was here, they called them colored, they called them African, they called them black, they called them Negro. Who else is called like that? That's because chances are the original breeding stock was dark-skinned people that was already here. Well, they still come from Africa. I don't care where they come from. When you travel from one place to another, you're no longer that no matter where you come from. We love playing the dumb role. We love playing the dumb role. If I'm born in Mississippi and I move to Ohio and I have children in Ohio, are those children Mississippians or are they Ohioans? Which one are they? I moved. When you change a geographical place, you're no longer that. I don't care where you come from. Now, I'm still a Mississippian. You can still call me a Mississippian, but my children have nothing to do with Mississippi. They never was there. So the original breeding stock, you can call them from the continent. You can call them native people or Aboriginal. You cannot call the descendants that because we're not that. We are an admixture people created by slavery. And we can look like Native Americans and we can look like Africans, but we're neither like the polar bear. That polar bear babies can look like a polar bear or a grizzly bear. So you look like African. Of course, it's in my DNA. You have some so-called black people, they passing for white. How did that happen? What Africans you know on the continent can pass for white? It's not in their bloodstream. It's not in their DNA. But we can produce that. You have brothers and sisters right now passing for white because that's our DNA makeup. We was raped by the peckerwood for hundreds of years. So in our DNA makeup, you have Aboriginal, you have African, you have the islands, you have the peckerwood. That's us. And we can look like any of them or we can look like a mix. What Africans do these sisters look like? Terry, Cindy, and Rona. What Africans they supposed to be? As a people, what Native Americans, as a people, what Africans we supposed to look like? We don't look like none of them because we're not them. We are an admixture people, whether you like it or not. The only way that Dan Calloway and Jabari and a lot of these people, scholars, Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, all these people, the only way they can be correct in their conclusions is that we have to remain pure. So we came from, so the polar bear comes from the Antarctic, and then the polar bear mixes with other polar bears and stay a polar bear. Now, what you're talking about is correct. However, you still got another problem because now the polar bear is being raised in the zoo. You're gonna have a problem taking these zoo polar bears and taking them back to Antarctica. It's not gonna work. Just like I was telling you about this young lady, she was raised by a kidnapper and she don't know her biological family. You still got some problems on your hands. What native people, what Aboriginal, what Africans, who are we supposed to look like? We're not that. After hundreds of years of interbreeding, and this is another thing about us, the breeding farms. You had sons made to have babies by their mother. Fathers was getting their daughters pregnant and cousins and stuff. All this, you don't even really know who you are biologically except within the last few generations. You really don't know because of slavery. Slavery created us, made us, we are a DNA mess. But see, wow. So now you know how we become what we are. Now you see that we are not African. We are not Aboriginal. We are not from the islands. We are a creation. We are a hybrid made up by a kidnapper. Just like that polar bear was kidnapped from Antarctica and brought and put in a zoo. We are the products. The same situation happened to us. And remember, we was treated just like animals. And so the slave master would breed certain slaves together because I'm going to put these slaves out in the field and I'm going to put these slaves in the house. The same way they did animals. I want to make this cow for beef. I want this cow for milk. Same process. Did this. We were property. We was the same. It's not a beautiful story. I know you don't like to hear it. You don't want to hear it. You want to hear about you was a god and goddess and a warrior and we ruled the world. And no, you didn't. Our history started with slavery because slavery created us. Our ancestors was free. Our ancestors was pure. We come from them. Just like a dog is not a wolf. Dogs are descendants of wolves, but they're not wolves, but they are descendants. We are descendants of these people. They are our DNA makeup, but we're not them. And you feel shame. That's what it is. You feel shame because you want a greater history. You want something. There's nothing. Oh, see. Oh, wow. There's nothing wrong with it. Do you know where all of us come from? Do you know where all of us come from? All of us started as a sperm and an egg. And then you began to evolve. And you became a fetus. And then an infant. And a toddler. And now you grown. That's where we started from. That's where we all started from. Now, some of y'all are nasty. Y'all know what sperm and egg look like. Is it pretty? Is it beautiful? Well, some of y'all disgusting, so maybe some of you might think so. Yeah, child. No, I'm not gonna get y'all nasty. That's how all of us start. You don't want to accept your beginnings. Our history didn't start with no slavery. Well, if your history did not start with slavery, what is your connection? What is your contribution to the history that you're plagiarizing and you're stealing? What is your history? Can a polar bear in a zoo claim the history of the polar bear that's free? How is that possible? Never been to Alaska, never been to Antarctica. How can the polar bear in the zoo claim that history? Has nothing to do with it. You was born in a zoo for generations. You've been living right here in America going on 500 years. They do not teach Black history in Africa. Do you know why? Because we don't have a connection and we have no contribution to African history. So why should they mention you? You didn't do nothing. We didn't do nothing in Africa. Never been there. So how are they going to talk about you and add you to their history when you never was there? Don't make any sense. But these fairy tales and these fictional things that we believe in, your kings and queens and gods and goddesses, and what kingdom did you rule? You a god of what? Where your power at? The only thing you represent is what you are, and that's a slave. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with your origins coming from slavery. Where did the peckerwood come from? You said he came out of a cave, right? He came out of a cave. He was crawling on his all fours, eating raw meat, climbing trees, had fur all over his body. Look at him now. It's not about where you come from. It's about where you're going. I was watching a video by Dr. Boyce Watkins, I believe. This brother was talking about how he was making $13 an hour, and now he's a multimillionaire. It's not about where you come from, it's about where you're going. And guess what? The brother went from $13 an hour to a millionaire. Who gets the credit? He gets all the credit. But with you trying to take the credit from somebody else. You want to tag along somebody else's history, somebody else's accomplishment. That's what you want to do. You are a bum. You're a historical bum. You are a plagiarist and you are a liar. You want to be part of history, but you don't know how to make history. The brother went from $13 an hour, now he's a millionaire. He's the only one that gets the credit. Nobody can say, well, I gave him. No, nobody gave me nothing. I used my brain. I used my talent. I went from $13 an hour. Now I'm a millionaire. You can't say that. You want to talk about the Egyptians, ancient Ethiopia, and you don't have nothing to do with that history at all. You have a beautiful history right here in struggle. And it can even get even better if you begin to learn how to love yourself and understand your own uniqueness. Let me bring this talk to conclusion. There are those who would tell us that we are Africans. There are those who would tell you that you are Kemetic, you're Kemite, you are a Moor and a Hebrew Israelite, and you're Aboriginal. I will say to us that we are soul brothers and sisters. That's what I like. That's what I love. Other people own these other labels. What does a label do? A label describes. I was telling somebody about being a soul man, a soul brother and sister. Oh man, that's some made up stuff. Everything we do in life, fool, is made up. Everything. This jar, somebody labeled this and called it a jar. Everything. Somebody, this computer I'm speaking to you on. Somebody named it. Everything is made up. That's how we communicate, idiot. Otherwise, how would you know what the hell I'm talking about? If I tell you to bring me a glass of apple juice, and then you bring me a glass of grape juice, now I communicated to you apple juice. But see, according to y'all logic, we won't know what is what because it's not properly labeled. You don't believe in proper labels. If I talk about a dog, a cat do not come in your mind because we have an understanding of what a dog is. So a cat would not come in your mind. Labels supposed to describe an object or a person. That's what labels do. When you pick up a can of corn and the label says corn on it, when you open the can, you expect to see corn, not beans in the can. If it's properly labeled. I say to us to label yourselves Hebrew Israelite or a Kemite or a Black Muslim or any of these other labels, African or Aboriginal, we are being mislabeled because that's not what we are. Anybody that talk to you just for a few minutes, can see that you're not none of these things. First of all, when you talk about a Moor and a Hebrew Israelite, who are your examples? Where are you getting this stuff from? So I guess you can just make up some stuff and make it whatever you want it to be, because there's no example. What is a Moor? What is a Hebrew Israelite? You definitely don't look like no Egyptian. You're not Kemetic. We're not carrying the correct labels. These are religious things. They have a religious affiliations or ideologies, whatever. But we did not make them up. They belong to somebody else. They have origins coming from somebody else. All of this stuff that we're talking about. And if you really get down to the root of it all, the white man created it all. When you get down to the root of it, because that's the only teacher you ever had. He's the one that taught you about Africa. He's the one that taught you about Egypt. He's the one that gave you the Bible. Everything about you is him. Everything about you is him at the root of it all. Now, once you get it and you play around, whatever, blah, 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 but at the root of it all, it comes from him. And he knows that we are mislabeled. He knows what we are. That's why he called us Negro. He did not call you a native. He did not call you an African. He called us a Negro or a colored person, because he knew that after generations, these are a new breed of something. They are not the original. No more than those mixed bears in the zoo. Not a polar bear, not a grizzly bear. Once you mix something, it is no longer pure. Once you put cream in coffee, it's still coffee, but it's not the same no more. You have diluted it. You have tainted it. And you can't sell it as coffee anymore. It's not pure coffee no more. You can probably still sell it with some cream in it, but chances are nobody, because most people want to put their own cream in coffee, sugar in coffee. They don't want that. You cannot sell coffee like that. We are not these people. That's our ancestors. That's who we descended from. That's not who we are. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Look, let me say this and get out of here. I don't know. See, I was raised when we holler Black Power. I know y'all know about Black Power. When I was growing up, there was also soul power. It was just as strong as Black Power was. Anybody my age, anybody that was raised in the late 60s, early 70s, you know, because you was probably a child just like me. We was raised and you heard soul power. I remember when I was a little boy and a brother walked up to me and said, "How you doing there, soul brother?" I'm like, "I'm fine." He said, "Give me 5." And I gave him 5. He said, "On the black hand side." He turned his hand over and I said, He said, "In the hole." And I did, He said, "Brother, you got soul." Oh man, woo. We was the only one doing that. That's our thing. When you talk about soul, brothers and sisters, because we use the word soul, you automatically think about religion, spirituality, which that is what many of us claim. And that's who we are. We are going to be spiritual, and we say that we have a soul. But when you talk about soul, it's an emotional connection to life. It's a survival mechanism that we developed. You can whoop my ass, but I will still smile. That's how we was able, that's how our people, that's how we was able to survive the brutality of 300-400 years. That's how we do right now. Which is also a bad thing, because we need to get up, we really need to fight. and stop this once and for all. It's a survival mechanism to have soul. It's a connection to life. It's a way to survive. This is how we learn how to survive. So you're getting treated badly, yes, sir, and you know how you learn how to smile. You learn how to deal with your oppression. And even though you're hurting, you can still sing. La, 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 we shall overcome. We shall overcome. Somebody get shot in the head. We shall overcome. We shall go up. Somebody go to jail. We shall overcome. It's a survival mechanism. That's how we are. That's how we survive the torture, the rape, and the brutality of over 300 years of physical slavery. We had to learn how to become emotional, to hold on to life. Life was precious to us because we were surrounded. We were living in the valley of the shadow of death. And in a racist society, whoo, come on now. In a racist society, because we have been discriminated against and bias and prejudice against us, we had to learn how to do things better than everybody else. I just can't learn something. I got to do it better. In order for me to try to compete with the white man, I got to step up my game and be better. So when you see basketball, when we stepped on the court, we just can't play basketball. We got to be better. So the brother got to take the ball and flip it around and put it behind his back and twist and dunk, and because we got to be better. When we play baseball, we got to do better. We can't just run the bases. We got to put some swag in there. We got to flip around and turn flips and do all kinds of stuff. Because everything we do, we got to do better. In business, we got to provide better customer service, better food. Everything about us got to be better in order to compete. And if we are given the opportunity, because this is a part of our life, this is how we live for hundreds of years. If you put us in a science environment or some kind of business environment, we're going to do very well because we got to do better. It's just a natural part of us, and we want to do better. When the Peckerwoods shake hands, how you doing there, Bill? They just shake hands. Well, how you doing there, Sal, whoever, John? When we shake hands, hey, what's up, brother? Give me some skin. We got to flip it around and turn it. It just can't be a regular shake. It's got to be, you got to flip it around and slap me, do it. That's how we do. That's our swag. That's how we do it. And that's why they said we have soul. That's why we're soul brothers and sisters. I don't know where the name actually come from that put it on us, but it's something that belongs to us. When you talk about soul brothers and sisters, it belongs to us. These are, in vogue is the funky divas of soul. Soul is more than music. Soul was our culture. Soul was us expressing our uniqueness. Some of us don't like ghetto names. That's us expressing our uniqueness. Well, you got a lady, she loves Tyrone, and she want to name this girl after the father. So I'm going to call my girl, my daughter, Tyronisha. Stuff like that. Some of y'all, that's so ghetto. That's us expressing ourselves, our own uniqueness. When you talk about soul music, they don't go looking for Africans. When you talk about soul music, they don't go looking for Aboriginal people. When they talk about soul music, they're talking about the descendants of slaves born in America, having Aboriginal or African ancestry or island ancestry, us, the so-called niggas, the African Americaners. That's who you're looking for. And when soul power was at its height, people all over the world want to have soul. I got soul too. I got soul too. And the thing about soul is it takes us out of race. You're not black. You're not brown. You're not red. You're not yellow. I just got soul. I'm just here. I'm part of this people here. Because we're not racist anyway. The ones who want to use black and African and Aboriginal, that's because they hook on race. They're in competition with other races. I have no need. I don't care if you are dark like me or their skin color. I don't care. We're all brothers and sisters. We all have soul here. It goes beyond skin color. The soul and the spirit has no skin color. It takes us out of racism, white supremacy. That by itself takes you out of racism, white supremacy. But as long as you're black and Aboriginal and African and all this other stuff, you still want to be part of their sick game. And you don't want to embrace what is natural, what is good for yourself. This belongs to me. So whatever soul is, I will determine what it is. Nobody can say, oh, well, you really ain't you're not a real soul brother. How do you know? We made, this is ours. You can't tell me nothing. But when you Kemetic, one of those Egyptians, you're not a real Egyptian. You're not a real Hebrew Israelite. You're not a real Muslim. You're not a real Moor, because you're getting this from other places. And whoever created the label determines and defines what that is. I don't want your damn label. I want to have soul. I want my own uniqueness. I want to be me. Nobody else can claim mine. So when you talk about soul brothers and sisters, nobody else can claim it. No Africans, no Aboriginal, no other dark-skinned people, no Europeans, nobody. Because when you think about soul brothers and sisters, when you talk about soul people, it's us. Nobody else can claim it. Nobody else can tell you what that is except us. But when you adopt labels that come from outside sources, then they determine whether you real or are you fake. I don't want to be those things. My mind is just as clever and creative as theirs is. My vision is just as clear as theirs was. I can label, I can create, I have vision. Whatever they can do, I can do. Matter of fact, if you leave me the hell alone, we could do better. You want to brag about ancient Egypt? Ancient Egypt is gone. It's done. But if you came and accepted your own uniqueness, you could probably do just as well as Egypt and greater. But only you satisfied with some dead stuff, some dead rocks from 5,000 years ago that have nothing to do with you. Because if you had something to do with those dead rocks from 5,000 years ago, you can build a pyramid and tell us how the pyramid was built. But you can't. You can't tell us how none of this ancient information that y'all talking about, you can't tell us how none of it works. Because none of it was given to you. You're going by what you read, what somebody told you. None of it comes from how you live, because it's not you. You've been right here, the so-called Negro in America, going on 500 years. I can accept that, just like I can accept death, as death comes to all men. I can accept the reality of it. So what? It's not where you come from. It's about where you're going. I'm proud And then you got the nerve to talk about you proud of Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey, but you put Egypt and you put ancient Ethiopia, you put all the other stuff over them. I'm not going to do that. It's nice to know. It's nice to know. I'm not going to put ancient Egypt over Malcolm X. I'm not putting ancient Egypt over Malcolm. I'm not putting Timbuktu or none of that African stuff or nobody over my own people. I'm not doing it. You can do it because you think you're them. Keep telling yourself that lie. Malcolm is me. Harriet Tubman is me. Martin King is me. Coretta is me. Betty Shabazz is me. Fannie Lou Hamer is me. That's me. I'm proud of me. Paul Robeson is me. They lived and they suffered for me. They didn't suffer and die in Kemet for me. They didn't suffer and die in Africa for me. Malcolm and these died and suffered for me. And I live to make them proud and to carry on their legacy. So they're not forgotten and they need to be shown appreciation for us being here today. We're not here because of ancient Egypt and all this other stuff that y'all talking about. We're here because of people like Brother Malcolm, Elijah Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali, and others. Known and unknown. When I talk about our people, I'm talking about people that we know and those who we don't know, because Malcolm couldn't do it by himself. Malcolm had help. Dr. King had help. Harriet Tubman had help. Everybody has help. They didn't do it all by themselves. We as a people, some of us who are the leaders, we made this happen. Everybody is not a leader, but we need more leaders. Most of y'all are followers. So in this age of reality, the leadership needs to step up. Those of you who come and listen to me on this platform, you need to step up. We need to step up because we're the leaders. You have your same mind. They don't have a same mind. They are living in these delusional worlds. It's our responsibility to lead because we're the thinkers. We have the vision. They don't. They're looking for the Messiah. They're looking for the Savior. And right now they are following false messiahs, false saviors. When they see the right leader pop up and they see the right thing going on, they will come. What's that old saying? If you build it, they will come. But if the leadership, if you that pitiful, you want to brag that you are so smart and you're a free thinker, but you're a slave just like them. You're not living no better. You're not doing no better. You're doing the same thing. Matter of fact, I question what kind of free thinker you really are. If you can sit around here and tolerate this madness 24 hours a day, what kind of free thinker are you? And we're not challenging the false prophets, as they say in religion. These false prophets need to be challenged. These false prophets, these false messiahs and saviors need to be challenged. Push them out the way so we as a people, we can grow into our uniqueness and show yourself that you're worthy of praise. You're worthy of honor. You don't have to get honor off of somebody else's leftovers. You don't need nobody. I don't want nobody else leftovers. Kemet, that's nice. I don't want your leftovers. The Arab Muslim world, that's nice. I'm not interested in your leftovers. Christianity and these gods, whatever. If I want a God, I can create my own God. I can reach out to the universe. Give me my own God. I don't need Jesus. I don't need Allah. I don't need Yahweh and all that. That's for somebody else. If God was really with us, God should give us our own prophet. God should give us our own name for God, instead of giving us scraps and leftovers. I don't want your scraps and your leftovers. Some of us don't eat leftovers. We don't like leftovers. I don't want your leftovers. But when it comes to religion, when it comes to these ideologies, I'm an RBG nation. How old is that? 100 years? I'm a nation of Islam. How old is that? 90 years? I'm a Noble Jew Ali. That's 100 years. We love people leftovers, old stale stuff. You're not ready for something good, warm, hot, right out the oven. Soul is giving you something hot, good, right out the oven. No more leftovers for you. No more leftovers for me. Fresh food, good food. No more leftovers. 5,000-year-old leftovers, 100-year-old leftovers, 1,000-year-old leftovers. That's some pretty hard digestion to me. And that's what you see. It's hard to digest because you should not be eating that. That was for that time. It's over. It's done. Let the dead lie. Let the dead rest in peace. I love Brother Malcolm. He can't do nothing for me. Love Marcus Garvey. Can't do nothing for me. Dr. King, and the list goes on and on. I love all of them. They cannot do nothing for me. Learn from their mistakes. Learn for yourself. Use your own mind. Make steps forward so the generation behind you can move easier. You cannot do that on the backs of dead people because their time is over. They did what they did in their time. This is your time. Their time is over. You are the Malcolm X. You are the Harriet Tubman. You are the Marcus Garvey. You are. But don't be them. Because you can be better. You can be just as good or greater than them. You got to get out the box, this rigid form of thinking. That's our problem. Learn how to love yourself. And all these things, it's just not us. They are not proper labels. They're not proper labels. But you are ashamed. I ain't coming from no slave. Okay. How do you live right now? Do you produce food, clothing, and shelter for yourself? No. When you make a move, do you have to ask another man for permission? Yes. Sound like a slave to me. Can you just leave the country? Don't get a passport? You have to ask another man, sir, can I get a passport? Take a picture and go to Africa? You got to ask another man. That's your homeland that you claim. You have to ask another man permission to go home. But you shame of being a child of a slave, but you still acting like one. If Africa is your homeland, you can go whenever the hell you please. What the hell you don't need a passport for what? I'm going home. But you are under the rule of another man, of other people. And then the sad thing about it is when you go to Africa, when you go home, they are going to ask you, where's your passport? You don't have a passport, sending you back. But I thought that was your home. How are they going to send you home? Because it's not your home. It's not your home. This is the only home we know. Just like that little girl, which became a young woman, that kidnapper, that was the only home she knew. This is all that we know. In the future, we can get to know Native American culture. We can get to know African culture because we know we're not Europeans. We know that. This is a fact. We know that. But this is a relationship that you just can't move fast like that. They have no respect for you when you cannot do nothing for yourself. You cannot produce food, clothing, shelter. The only thing you are is a parasite. You can sing and you can dance, play basketball or whatever, you can rap. That don't help people. They need folks who know how to build roads, those who can take advantage of the resources and so forth and so forth. So you need to put yourself in a better position. This is why I say and advise us about the Operation Exodus Mississippi, the Mississippi campaign, because it gives you an opportunity to control things, to learn how government is controlled, about infrastructure, about nation building, everything. Put yourself in a position where you can produce things for yourself, food, clothing, and shelter for this one geographical area. Because if you can't do it in a place where you know where you live, where you was born for generations, how are you going to do it in Africa? You can't. And you can't even do it right here where you've been going on 500 years. It's impossible. That's fantasy teaching. That's a fantasy fairy tale thinking. It's not going to happen. So I'm proud to say I'm soul brother number one. Y'all want to talk about I'm a god and a warrior and a goddess and all this stuff. I'm proud to say I'm soul brother number one because my ancestor gave it to me. James Brown, the Godfather, soul brother number one. None of you wanted the title because it's not good enough for you. It's good enough for me. I'll take the title. I will raise soul to where it needs to be and bring back the uniqueness and the proudness of us as a people. I'm not trying to want to copy nobody. I don't want to be an African. I want to be no Aboriginal, nothing. I want to be me. During the height of soul power, people all over the world want to have soul. Give me some soul. I wish I had some soul. I want to be soul. There was a group called Hall and Oates, two Caucasian guys. They were called Blue-Eyed Soul Brothers. Folks wanted that title. They wanted to have some soul too. They wanted some swag. When you got soul, when you got swag, see, our young brothers don't understand what it means to have soul. So they have women problems. They think just get a job, get an education, and have a pretty car, all the women fuck. See, when you got soul, so see, when brothers had soul, you just got that swag. And you don't have to have a dime in your pocket. Don't have to. Ain't that right, Terry? Don't have to have a dime in your pocket. It's just how you carry yourself. You carry yourself with energy. You carry yourself with high self-esteem. That's what we had to have. I told you it's natural in us because we had to be better in this country. So everything we did, even chasing women, you just can't go out and just run a lame line. You got to puff it up. Got to give it some fire. You got to give it some soul. The poor young brothers don't have any soul. And they upset. Well, I got money. I don't smoke. I don't drink. Why do women don't like me? And the people that you call thug, the brothers that you call thug, they know how to use that part of them, that energy in them. Yeah, they messed up. They're not a good catch. But they know how to use that part of themselves. Your education has made you a robot. Your education has made you rigid. See, most of these brothers don't have education. So they just let their nature flow. And so they have the women, and you get mad and make 20,000 YouTube videos where a black woman do this and the feminism and blah, blah, blah. And that's what we have. Because you don't have your soul. This is the age of reality. Keep coming back here, join me as long as I can. Let's get our soul back. Let's learn how to love ourselves. Let's learn how to love ourselves first. We come first. Has nothing to do with hatred, has nothing to do with bias against nobody else. If you don't love yourself, how can you love anybody else? We want to love us. Show these women that we can provide, that we can protect, and give them something they can be proud of. Teach the children. Instead of these fairy tale stories. Well, when we was kings, when we was gods, what if you was that? Was is the key word. Nobody care about your paycheck from last week. Are you getting paid this week? Nobody cares about what you did then. I did a lot of things when I was younger. I can't do them the way I used to do. Nobody care about what you did then, 5,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, blah, blah, blah. Care about what you're doing now. And what you're doing now is not making the grade. What you're doing now is really pathetic. We as a people are a bunch of losers. But you shame to be a descendant of a slave. My history didn't start with no slave. But look at your condition. Your condition don't show that you have a higher history because you still act like a slave. You produce no food, clothing, and shelter. You don't do a damn thing for yourself. The only thing we do, run around here wasting hours and hours talking about Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson ain't building a school. Who cares? Why don't you build one? All the resources, all the time these people are wasting on Umar Johnson. Why don't you get together and build the school that Umar Johnson, you knew he never was going to build? Why don't y'all do that? That would be too much like right, because you're a slave. The only thing you want to do is sit around and gossip and slander, watch YouTube videos and make more babies, and eat and get fatter. That's all you're interested in, because you're a slave. A Kemetic slave. A Nation of Islam slave. Don't get angry at me. That's you. I don't want to do that. But I can't do the work by myself. Just like Malcolm couldn't do the work by himself. Nobody can do the work by themselves. But I'm surrounded by people that don't want to do nothing. Hey, so what can I do? There's nothing I can do about it. Except keep talking. Maybe the message might reach the right people who are sick and tired and say, hey, I've tried everything. I'm willing to give you a try, man. Let's do this. And we are not going to talk about Umar Johnson. We're going to build the school that Umar Johnson is supposed to build. We're not going to talk about Louis Farrakhan. We're going to do what Louis Farrakhan should have done 40, 50 years ago. Why waste time talking about Farrakhan and Umar Johnson and Brother Polite and all these other scammers? Get yourself together, get your resources, get yourself together and do. Since clearly they're not doing the job, then show them how it's done. Problem is you don't know what to do yourself, except beg the white man. You're gonna wait, you waiting on on the white man to give you the vaccine for the coronavirus because you scared to die. And you locked up in your house, scared to go to the store, scared to do anything because of the coronavirus. If we had the state of Mississippi, that would be my excuse to keep people out, saying, hey, we got a lot of coronavirus here, to give us an opportunity to get our act together and make some moves. The other suckers don't want to come and bother you because the coronavirus is in here. The coronavirus will be like the guard dog, keep all the other heathens out. See, you're a bunch of losers. You just want to complain. You really don't want to solve the problem. You want to stay in the problem because you don't want to accept the responsibility for yourself. Nation of Islam, all this pro-blackness stuff, they don't want to solve the problem. Because if you solve the problem, what is it left for them to do? Also, if the Mississippi campaign solved the problem, then it also shows that everything they've been teaching us all this time was bull doo-doo. And they don't want you to see that. Some people are ashamed. They don't want to deal with the reality of things. I wouldn't care as long as it worked. They looking out for their pride. I don't want that to be successful because it's going to make them look bad because they've been telling you to do it a certain way for all this time, which it's not working. Then all of a sudden, you do this for a few minutes and you can see your progress. Not believe in it. Not believe in it. You can see your progress. And if it's not working, then we should be humble enough to say, hey, this is not working the way I thought it would be. We got to go to plan B or C or something. It's not working. But see, you're dealing with people who are not humble. They're arrogant. They're a bunch of know-it-alls and don't have a pot to piss in. Too ashamed to say, look, it's not working. It's not working. They would rather you die. They would rather you suffer. And you want to keep following this mentality. I can't do it no more. I done it when I was a child. I will not do it as an adult. I'm not going to do it. You and I deserve better. We deserve to be winners, not losers. I want to be a winner for real. I don't want nobody telling me, oh, well, you know, number 2 is good and blah, blah, blah. You made a good effort. No, I want to be a winner. I want to be number 1. I want that NBA ring on my finger. I want to be number 1. Real. I don't want to hear about what somebody did 5,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 100 years ago, 50 years. No, I want to create history instead of learn about it all the time. I want to create history. All these people you follow, what history have they created? Nothing. They take your money, you give to the super chat, you give all your money and time with them. What history are they making? What are they actually doing for you? Nothing. Because they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do anyway, except hustle you and make you feel good. The same thing a drug dealer do. Same thing a prostitute do. Hustle you, make you feel good, and they go on about their business. If you can't give them any money, they don't want nothing to do with you. It's simple as that. So I would advise and I suggest that a beautiful label for us that we created. It did not come from Africa, did not come from the Native Americans, it did not come. It's us as a people, our natural evolution rather, in this country, expressing our own uniqueness, our own soul, brothers and sisters. And matter of fact, I said this in conclusion. Matter of fact, under this umbrella of soul, nobody did, as to my knowledge, nobody had a problem with it. You could be a black Muslim, you could be Kemetic, you could be a Moor. Everybody was under soul. Nobody had no problem with it. I heard nobody talk about, I ain't no soul this. But you hear people talk, I ain't no African, I ain't no Aboriginal, I ain't no Moor. I never heard people say, I don't have soul. That's not me. And you can still be Kemetic. You can still be metaphysical. You can still be a Moor and a Hebrew Israelite. But we need one identity that we can rally under to say, this is what we are as a people. We got soul. The same way that you would say, I'm an American. And when you talk about Americans, all kinds of Americans, but they under one umbrella. We got soul. And everybody under one umbrella. And we determine what defines that. Nobody else. I love it myself. I love it. I find great pride in saying I'm soul brother number one. So on that note, I want to thank you for listening. Went a little bit longer than I wanted to, but y'all y'all hung. You hang with me, and I appreciate it. It's an honor coming before you and speaking with all of us. And I thought I was going to have some trouble in the chat room, but I guess they decided I started to make a little sense. I make a little sense. Give me a chance. I mean, just think about it. It's not all that bad. I know that the things that I'm saying to you sound strange and whatever. Just think about it. Just think about it. Don't, oh, I don't like that. You never tried it yet. Well, I already know I don't like it. But you never tried. How do you know that you don't like something until you try it? But you do have people. I don't like spinach. Have you tried it? No. And then you can cook spinach in many, many kinds of ways. You don't have to eat spinach this way. There's all kinds of ways that you can eat spinach. Well, I know I don't like spinach. I was that way. I was that way about potatoes and beets. Now I love potatoes and beets. It was a Jamaican sister. She said, what is it that you don't like? I said, I don't like potatoes and I don't like beets. She said, when I cook these potatoes and beets, you're going to like it. I said, no, really, lady? I do not. Let me tell you something, Miss Jamaican lady. I do not like potatoes. I do not like beets. That Jamaican sister threw down. Though, I mean, I don't know what she done, but she made me like potatoes and beets. And I heard beets are good for your blood. So I like beets. But we never know if we like something until we try it. Just because I said, oh, we shouldn't be African, we shouldn't be Aboriginal or Black Muslim, just because I said stuff like that, you automatically reject. You don't even want to taste. But this could be the very thing that could save our lives as a people. And how do you know that it's not coming from God? It says in the Holy Quran that Allah chooses whom he pleases. It did not say that Allah chooses the Black Muslims or the Muslims to do such and such, such and such. I heard that God can use the devil if he wants to. So how do you know if God is not using me to bring this message to us for whatever reason? Because you cannot comprehend the wisdom of God. You said it yourself. How do you know God is not causing me to bring this message for us? How do you know? Why don't you take a taste? Why don't you try? Why don't you really think about what is being presented? Because in order to gain unity, we have to move under one identity. We have to move under one umbrella. And personally, I really don't care what it is. If we want to be Africans, hey, I'm cool. If you want to be Aboriginal, cool. If the 40 million want to be Hebrew Israelites, hey, however y'all want to do it, as long as we get the job done, come together under one umbrella and make the move and progress. Personally, I don't trip off of that. I don't care. As long as the job get done. I would be look, if the Hebrew Israelites wanted to take control of the state of Mississippi, I'm on board. Call me a Hebrew. You can call me a Hebrew Israelite tonight. But I'm going to be the realist Hebrew Israelite. If the black Muslims want to do it, hey, I'm on board that train. As long as the job get done, I'm not tripping off of it. Because I'm not looking for myself. It's not about me. It's about what is in the best interest of us as a people. And we're running out of time. Time is not on our side. We need to get something going, get something done. It's not about what I want personally. And see, that's another thing. Soul power has nothing to do with your personal religion or your ideology or nothing. It's just an identification for a group of people that come up out of similar circumstance, no more, no less. That's it. So on that note, let me get out of here. Thank y'all for joining me these 2 hours. Appreciate it. And I really enjoy your company. It's always an honor. And share the video, like the video, subscribe, however y'all want to do it. And I appreciate everything that you do. I had technical difficulties on my Facebook, but hopefully I will be able to dump this down to my Facebook. So I want to issue an apology to my Facebook audience. Thank you, Cool Cutter and Returns and Andre and the Truthful Troll, those in the chat room, and those who are listening and those who will listen to this broadcast later. I appreciate it. We really need to get something going. If not, hey, I can't say I did not try. I want to be able to say, well, I tried. I want to tell my great-grandchildren, well, my grand-relatives, I don't have any children. I want to be able to tell them, hey, I tried. I did the best I could. So, we have to, we have to face the decisions that we make, whether they are good decisions or bad decisions. We just have to suffer the consequences of of our actions. On that note, as always important, like Don Cornelius, a great soul brother said, who developed Soul Train, and I would like for you to get on board this Soul Train. Next week is the 2nd anniversary that I introduced Operation Exodus Mississippi. That classic video will be playing on all the Angel Snup Nup 7 channels next week. And I would hope that we would share and get to talking. Right now, we just need to get to talk, get the conversation going. That we have something that can get the job done. But it won't work without our unity. It won't work if we don't have our soul. It won't work with us being divided anyway. It can only work with us being unified. So As always important, I wish us love, peace, and soul. We out.